this video, we're going to look at importing line items from a CSV document to our bid estimate. To import a CSV, go over to your line item panel and click on the Import tab. From here, I can click on the Select button to select a file, or I can drag and drop in a file and drop it here. When you load a CSV file to be imported, NIM will read through the file and display information from the first row under the Imported Data section. Now, from the Store As column, select the NIM field that corresponds to the column of data from your CSV. In this case, I'm going to select my section, my item number. I'm going to choose my item name, display name, quantity, units, and I will scroll down to select our hard cost, our rate, any discounts, as well as the adjusted rate. At this point, I can scroll back up to the top, and if I want to check the data of any other rows in my CSV, I can click on this drop-down here under the Show Data from Line, and I can step through different rows, and you can see the data is updating to reflect the information that exists in that row. When I'm ready to import, I can click the Import 11 line items, where 11 is the corresponding number of rows that will be imported from your CSV. Clicking that button brings up the Import Bid Items window. From here, NIM gives you the option to resolve conflicts and determine whether or not items should be merged or imported as new line items. Each row is assigned an action, and we can see here there is a merge action, which means that NIM found a corresponding line item based off of the row's information. NIM matches line items to be imported under the section, item number, item name, display name, and units. Depending upon which columns you choose to import, NIM will use the information it has to match it against existing line items. If there is only a single line item that matches, it will be flagged as a merge. NIM will also determine if a row matches multiple line items in the bid, and you can see that action is set as multiple. Items that are marked as multiple or conflict need to be resolved prior to import, and we'll discuss conflict items more in a second. As we move through the actions, we can see this item is flagged for import. This row will be imported and added as a new item to our estimate. Now we can see we have 3 conflict items, as well as a row marked to be skipped. The reason why this row is marked to be skipped as there is no item name in the data. When item name is selected to be imported, every row needs to have an item name that matches either a pre-existing bid item or expense in NIM. Now, coming up to our first conflict, we can see here there is a unit designated as weeks. Unit types in NIM must be defined as either hours, days, or units. We can click on this value and select it from the available items. In this case, I'm going to select days. You can see the value is no longer highlighted, indicating that the conflict has been resolved. The row is also now flagged for import. Moving to our other 2 conflicts, we can see that there's an issue with the item name. In this case, the item name was not found. So we can click on the field to bring up a list of labor items and expense items to choose from. In this case, I'm going to select meals to include it as an expense. Moving to our next conflict, the issue here is that this item name exists as both a labor item and an expense item, and no corresponding item was found inside the estimate. Now I can click on the field and scroll down to the matching item that I wish to assign. Now, going back to resolve our merge and multiple items, I can click on the arrow to the left of the row to expand it and see the line item that NIM found as a match. I can scroll over to look at any additional detail or information about that row. And I can choose to import the item by clicking on the Import button. You'll see the action has been changed to import. I can click on the arrow again to collapse the row. For multiple items, click on the arrow to see the found matches. Here we can see that we matched with 3 separate items. I can click on any of the merge buttons to choose one of those items to merge with, or I can also click on Import to import as a new item. We'll leave this one as import. Expanding this row, we can choose the row we wish to merge with and click on the Merge button and set that row to be merged. Now we can see each of our rows has either an option to merge or to be imported, and we have no more highlighted items. So we're going to go ahead and click on the import button. If all of the items had been successfully imported, the import window would automatically close. In this case, we still had one item flagged for skip that couldn't be resolved, so we're just going to go ahead and close the window ourselves. Here we can see by the blue tick marks which items have been modified, and we can scroll through to see any additional changes. And if we're happy with the changes, we can save our bid, or at any point in time, we can actually click the cancel button to undo all saved changes to this bid and revert the bid to its last saved state. Now, in addition to importing line items, you can also import just sections. So if I go to a new bid here and choose Organize by Section, I can see I have one existing section. Now I'm going to grab a shot list that I exported previously, and I'm going to choose this row to be our section name. This will be our section description, and here will be our section notes. Now, by not choosing item name as a column to import, NIM will only import section data. I can choose my 19 items to import. I can see here it found a matching section to merge the information with, as well as it's going to create new sections for each of the other items I have here. I can click import, the window automatically closes as there were no unresolved items, and I can see all of my sections now available to start adding line items to. Please note that when importing bid line items or sections, you must either choose a section name or item name as a column to be imported. And that covers importing line items and sections in NIM. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to support@nim-labs.com. Thank you very much for watching.